Hello, I'm Dr. Martin Baxmann. Today, we need to talk about a critical decision that every single practice owner is facing right now. Should we be investing in these expensive new digital tools? Or is there a way to unlock massive growth through smarter, leaner scheduling? The answer, I think, is going to surprise you. This right here is the core principle we need to operate from. In a world that is just saturated with promises about new technology, our first job as leaders is to take a step back, look at the data, and actually analyze the numbers, not just follow the latest trend. All right, let's dive right in. It is absolutely impossible to ignore all the buzz around online appointments and remote monitoring. I mean, it's everywhere. It's constantly presented as this modern, essential solution for any practice that considers itself forward-thinking. And look, on the surface, you totally get the appeal, right? Patients can just upload their progress from home and we can monitor them remotely. But a patient, this is a genuine win. It saves them travel, it saves them waiting time, and we can't just dismiss that value. It's real. But, and this is a really big but, as lean practitioners, as business owners, we have to look deeper. Let's start peeling back the layers and see what the true impact is on our finances and maybe even more importantly, on our day-to-day workflow. So first, let's just talk about the direct financial hit. A lot of these services charge a fee per patient. Let's estimate it at around 10 euros a month. Well, annually, that adds up to 120 euros for every single patient. Now, that might not sound like a huge number at first, but as you start to scale your practice, this number becomes very, very significant. And that cost brings us to the most critical question of all. We can justify a cost if it gives us a return, if it makes us more efficient. But does it? Does it actually save us time? This right here is where that digital promise often starts to break down. This slide just perfectly illustrates the fundamental shift in your workflow. Think about it. In the clinic, I'm at the chair, I'm talking with the patient, and my assistant is right there documenting everything in real time. But with a digital check-in, now I am the one sitting alone at a desk, reviewing images and typing out all the documentation. My workload hasn't been reduced at all, it's just been moved from the chair to the computer. And this brings up another issue, the frequency. These systems encourage weekly, sometimes even more frequent check-ins. But we have to ask ourselves a fundamental clinical question here. Does checking in this often actually change the biological process? Does it speed anything up? Or does it just create a mountain of administrative work and maybe even some unnecessary patient anxiety? So if we're seeing some serious cracks in this digital promise, what's the move? What is the alternative? Well, this is where we pivot from just critiquing a tool to embracing a much more powerful and strategic system. And here's the thing that so many people miss. Genuine, sustainable efficiency, it's not born from new software. It's born from mastering your core processes. Extending your appointment intervals isn't a step backward. It's actually a very sophisticated lean management strategy. It's about respecting biology and your business capacity. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's actually do the math. I'm going to show you how this one single strategic shift can completely change the potential of your practice without you having to add a single dollar to your overhead. Let's start with a baseline. Imagine a small practice, 2 chairs running a nice, relaxed 4-hour afternoon shift. If you're on a traditional 4-week interval, your practice is basically capped at 640 active patients. And at that point, most people think the only way to grow is through expensive expansion. But there is a much, much better way. The solution is actually remarkably simple. First, you have to recognize that our modern appliances, they work incredibly effectively over longer periods than we used to think. So second, you shift your standard appointment cycle from 4 weeks to 8 weeks. Remember this number, 640. This was your ceiling. This was your absolute maximum capacity under the old conventional way of thinking. Now watch this. Just by making that one change, shifting to an 8-week interval, your 2-chair practice can now handle 1,280 active cases. You have just doubled your capacity with the exact same staff, the exact same rent, and the same relaxed schedule. And this principle, it scales beautifully. A 4-chair practice that applies the same logic can suddenly manage over 2,500 active cases. Just take a moment and imagine the astronomical cost of paying for digital monitoring for that many patients. It's staggering. You see, this brings us to a much larger point. What we're really talking about here goes way beyond just a scheduling tactic. This is about a philosophy of leadership. It's about being a strategic business owner, not just a clinician reacting to trends. We have to be really wary of a psychological trap known in business as the halo effect. It's this idea where vendors market their technology as being innovative and cool, and then we subconsciously start to believe that just using their tool makes us a better, more modern doctor. They use this halo to dictate our medical standards. But true leadership, real leadership, is the complete opposite of that. It's not maximizing the resources you already have. It's about resisting the hype and focusing on the numbers. Real leadership is about architecting intelligent systems, not just buying software, so you can build a practice that's truly profitable and sustainable, not just one that looks popular. Now, am I saying you should throw away all digital tools? Of course not. They absolutely have a place. You can use them strategically, maybe to replace one physical appointment for a simple retention patient. The key is that the tool must serve your efficient system. Your system should never ever become a slave to the tool. So, I'll leave you with this question to really reflect on. When you look at your own operations, is your practice truly built on a foundation of efficiency, or is it being shaped by expensive, vendor-driven habits? The answer to that question is what will define your future growth.